Today I'm going to be analyzing the water cycle and demonstrating how our beautiful planet Earth moves water around itself and what effects this has. So firstly, we need to determine where the water cycle starts. Does it start with rainfall that falls into our lakes and rivers? Or is it that water then flowing into our ocean? Or the water that's being absorbed throughout these waterways? Or does it start with the formation of rain? Well, let's take a closer look, and maybe by the end of this, you'll be able to determine where it starts. To start, let's look at precipitation. This is when rain or snow falls from clouds onto our land and disperses in several different ways. A large part of our precipitation ends up falling into our lakes, rivers, and into our oceans. If rain doesn't land in these areas, then it either runs off or soaks into the ground, which then our trees and plants can absorb, or it'll soak far enough into the ground until it reaches our water tables. When rain runs off, it travels downhill until it reaches a dip in the ground. This dip in the ground will become the formation of our puddles, lakes, rivers, and oceans. And as the water seeps back into the ground, these runoffs follow a similar pathway, although it remains on the surface of the earth and travels downhill until it reaches these bodies of water. For the next step, let's look at evaporation. After water travels to form puddles or larger water sources, on a nice sunny day, water will start to warm up and start to raise back into the sky. This is because the sun is warming up the small water particles which move back into the sky so then they can start the process of getting ready to fall again. But remember how we mentioned that trees and plants can absorb water? These plants have a process called evapotranspiration. Evapotranspiration is when water is absorbed from the leaves on our trees and plants and goes back into the sky to get ready to fall again one day. This process of evapotranspiration helps move nutrients and water through trees and plants. This absorption from the leaves pulls water and nutrients from the plant's roots to its shoot and then to the leaves. Lastly, now we're going to look at condensation. Condensation is when these water particles reach the sky. The water particles start to cool down because of the lower air temperature. The water particles cool down and they come together to form our clouds. These particles will form together until they become so big that they can't hold on to each other anymore and they start to fall from the sky, which then starts the cycle all over again with precipitation. Although the water cycle is a simple process, it can also have many big effects on our planet and the people's livelihoods. Sometimes these runoffs can be so big and powerful enough, it can rush across our plants and it can destroy anything in its path and also wash away necessary nutrients in our soil. This is a major issue for people like farmers, where a big runoff can wash away all the required nutrients needed to grow their crops. Once these runoffs reach the lower ground, it then can form floods, which then can also cause serious amounts of damage to people's livelihoods, as these floods can sometimes wash away people's homes, leaving people with nothing. Also, these runoffs can push certain nutrients into lakes, which can lead to harmful bacteria growth, like algae blooms, which can kill wildlife that need to use these lakes as a source of water to live and survive. When we understand the water cycle, we can see how it's all connected to each other and how it flows in harmony when we look at it from all perspectives. Seeing the water cycle and its unique steps, we can see how all the different steps come together to form something truly amazing. For example, as we think about how water seeps out of the ground, we can think of this as the spirit of the land leaving the earth and becoming free. But for us humans, we need to do our part to make sure that we recycle the water we use properly so we can limit the damage it causes to our earth by releasing clean water back to the earth like how it provided clean water for us. This is also important as we release water back, that this water is also going back into the environments around us.